Okay.
Love y'all, boys. Love you. I go to war with every single one of you every game, all right? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Win.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have me douse, not what I'm about, have your fucking cloud. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. 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 It's showtime.
It is showtime.
I love that, man. That's great stuff.
Welcome to Friday Night Lights. I'm your host, Mikey, and as always, riding with my boy Tommy. What's going on, brother?
What is going on, Mr. Mikey? Happy Friday. Happy Friday to Bills Mafia. We made it. We're here. Friday Night Lights.
We have a special guest with us, our closeted Bills fan.
Yes.
I mean Dolphins fan.
Yeah, you can tell, right?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm good. When we say special, do you mean like short bus special or?
Yes.
You are a Dolphins fan, so you take that
that
you need to.
Right. That does make sense.
I miss you guys, man. I tell you, I told Tommy a couple weeks ago, I'm like, man, I haven't seen you in forever, man. I miss you guys. So I'm glad to be on, even though you're Bills fans, which, we weren't going to get into that too much. Most of the Bills fans here will probably castigate me, but you guys are the best. I love the show. I really do.
I'm glad you joined us. It's actually a really good time to join us as we're 1 week away from the NFL draft.
Mm-hmm.
So we can talk tonight. We'll talk a little bit of Bills. We'll talk a little bit about how the Dolphins are doing and what they're looking like headed into the draft.
Jets too, man. Jets too. I think this could be interesting.
We'll talk about the Jets because on paper, the Jets look great.
Mm-hmm.
On
paper, they look fantastic. Right. The problem is
the Jets get the torch.
Yeah, the problem is the offensive line that they've built hasn't played a full season in like 5 years.
Right.
It's crazy what they've done. So what is your take on the Jets, Curtis?
I mean, I really just want a good AFC East season. I was expecting it last year. I thought we were going to get like a good 3-team battle. And, it came down to 2. Jets, I didn't like seeing Rodgers go down the first 4 games. It kind of was like a big letdown. Mm-hmm. I wanted to see that. I wanted to see the battles. This year, though, look, that defense is good. You go over, they add some Reddick. They got some good pieces. They got still depth there. It's the offensive line. I love the offensive line. But, Tyron Smith, is he going to stay healthy?
Right.
Vera Tucker, is he going to stay healthy? I love Morgan Moses' addition. That guy has been healthy for a long time. He's a good player.
Mm-hmm. Joe Tippmann is going to be healthy because he got hurt last year.
It just really, my biggest thing with them is, are they going to go Brockers and roll the dice, or are they going to grab a tackle? I think it's such a hard decision, man. It's such a hard decision.
Tommy, what's your thoughts on the Jets? And will they go tackle or will they go weapon for Rodgers?
It's a great question. I think they need to concentrate on the offensive line, in my opinion. You got Aaron Rodgers, right? Even though he's aging, right? We don't know what he's going to bring after the injury, but he's still Aaron Rodgers. Like, he's going to bring better than what Zach Wilson brought or any other quarterback they had, right?
For that kind of
if they can protect him, that's the big thing, right? Mm-hmm. And a great quarterback, and let's be real, he's been a great quarterback. He can make other receivers look awesome, and he has good receivers there. He has one of the better younger receivers in the NFL. Get him protection, man. because the older quarterbacks that lasted long in this league and that won Super Bowls always had great protection. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and they need that, especially an aging quarterback, and especially an aging quarterback that doesn't really is losing a lot of his mobility. Aaron Rodgers is not what he once was, because Aaron Rodgers was a little mobile in his career early, but now it's different. So, I would definitely concentrate on the offensive line if I am the Jets, and then sprinkle in some weapons for him. But yeah, you got to fix that offensive line, get it right. But hey, I don't care. Make it terrible. Go.
I'm hoping it's a punter.
Yeah, exactly.
Go punt around, top 10. There we go. If they have learned their lesson, and this will tell me if Douglas and Saul have learned the lesson, they will take the best remaining tackle there, because we both know, Curtis, as we talk X's and O's, everything is won and lost in the trenches.
Yeah,
it starts and ends there. And if Tyrod was playing, I would say you can get away with because he's more mobile than Aaron Rodgers is going to be. But knowing that Rodgers is going to be back this year, you need to solidify that line, and to bank on Smith and Tucker and all those guys making it through a whole season when they haven't is very dangerous.
But if you look at it from a personnel standpoint, it's a sticky situation, because you got Morgan Moses. You can't put him at guard, and you can't put Tyron Smith at guard. You got to get a guy
Simpson too.
What happened?
They signed Simpson from Baltimore. So their 5 is already set.
Yep. So it's like you grab that first round pick, and if you can only play tackle, you need a guy. I mean, like that guy tried Troy Fatuanu. He's a guy who could play like guard and tackle. But if you just get a pure tackle, it's kind of be hard to kind of fit him into the situation, because Morgan Moses stays healthy, Tyron stays healthy. Then you get your first round pick. Whereas if you got Brockers, that guy's coming out and playing for you. I mean, you got what's the other guy? Conklin and Brockers, and a 2 tight end set would be nasty. But I would go line 2. But getting Tyron makes it sticky. And
it's a 1-year deal for Tyron.
Yeah.
What you can also do is go the Steelers route. They drafted the first round tackle. They played him as the 6th offensive lineman in jumbo packages, and then brought him along slowly.
That's true.
If he's now your swing tackle this year, with the looks at putting him into the starting lineup in 2025.
There's some good tackles, man. They're so just think about it.
They said 8 in the first round, possibly.
Even that guy JC Latham looks like he's like rise up. That guy could be a monster.
There's a lot of right tackles in this round. Yeah. Like all the left tackles are probably going to go in the top 15. And then the back half is going to, I think there's 4 that are probably going to go in the top 15 that are going to be left tackles in the back half. The other 4 are probably going to be right tackles. That'll go in the back half of the round 1.
Is even that guy Mims looks interesting. Mims looks interesting too.
Mims is an animal. The problem is he gets hurt a lot, and B, he doesn't have a ton of starts.
Yeah.
He's all traits.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be. My Dolphins need attack. We need offensive line.
You guys should take Mims.
Oh,
take Mims.
Take Mims.
Let him get hurt and sit down in Miami and be happy.
Yeah, Teron. How long's Teron going to be? And he's going to even finish the season. He's definitely not going to be.
Is he gonna play? Because they were talking about him retiring.
No, he's playing. They extended him.
Okay.
Oh, they got a lot of money invested for 2 years.
They extended him.
They had no choice. They're broke.
What happens when you pay Tyreek $30 million a year? Is that why Tua hasn't been extended yet?
I don't know what's going on. I think they're waiting for Xavier Howard money to come in. They're getting $18 million.
Oh, after June 1.
Yeah, so I think that's a deal. I don't know. Dolphins are weird, man. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they made him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, or if they went into the 5th-year contract and just got rid of him. I don't know. The Dolphins are like, they do their own thing. Who knows? I know he's lightened up. He's dropped a lot of weight. He looks like he does in college. I think he's going for broke as far as trying to give himself a good season. I think he's going to see a lot of scrambling out of him. Hey, Scott, what's going on there, brother? It's good to see you, man. I don't know.
The Dolphins should take a QB in round 1 after they.
Can you imagine? That would be a Dolphin GM. Your GM would do some shit like that.
Available.
I was crapping on Greer and Curtis's last show. I popped in and was crapping on Greer because they were debating on who was at fault for what it was, and I said it's Greer.
It's never Greer with most. You got like maybe
that dude's been there like 20 years and they haven't been to the playoffs.
Matter, man. It doesn't matter. This is our year. And if it's not this year, it'll be next year.
Right.
Every year's your year.
Right.
Dude, he's going to be there. I'll be like 115 and Greer will still be there. And they're going to keep telling me. I mean, maybe it will. I'm not saying it's not going to, but I don't know. We'll see. I hope. I don't like Greer. There's a lot of things I don't like about him. There's things he's done well and there's things I think he's good at, but I hope. I don't have a lot of faith. We'll see. If he goes and grabs a receiver, it's like, an edge player in the second round, and we go with this offensive line again, then I don't know what to say.
So let me ask you this. Knowing that you lost Wilkins and you need
interior... Man, what's going on, man? What are you hurting me for? Hurting me.
Listen, let that nut grabber go and grab Patrick Mahomes for a while. Let him go grab on Patrick Mahomes for a little bit.
Right.
Leave Josh's nuts alone for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Would you prefer in round one go offensive tackle or interior offensive line or one of the top defensive line, Johnny Newton, Byron Murphy? What would you want as a Dolphins fan?
For me, I think if you look at the Dolphins roster, they've got they got good receivers on the edge, great receivers on the edge. You can find a guy later on in that second round. They got Jonnu Smith. They got H.N. Mostert. They're going with Tua. You got your guy Poyer and Holland. You got Kohu and Ramsey and Fuller. And Cam Smith you spent a second round on. The problem is you got Chubb and Phillips that are injured. You don't know when they're coming back. But then you got Sealer. But to me, it's that D tackle spot. If you would have said it to me, I would love in the second round to get Sweat. That's what I really want. I want that big anchor point in the middle, suck up blocks, so Sealer can get his one-on-one. And if he sucks up the double, that means Chubb or Phillips are free. I really like Sweat. I like the guy Murphy too, but we need a nose tackle, I think. But it looks like with the Ravens, they want to run a lot of one gap shooting. Mm-hmm. So maybe he's not that guy. I think I think offensive line's the biggest problem. I don't believe in win.
You think they could fill in at D tackle and get by this year? Yeah, because they also have like McKinley and some other late day 2, early day 3 options too at D tackle.
Well, the thing it's hard because like if you look at the Ravens, we're like and you look at Weaver, who's the DC that we got now from the Ravens. With the Texans, they had a nose tackle, and we don't have a nose tackle on the roster right now. There's nobody in the league to play that. I mean, in the draft to play that, except Sweat and maybe Murphy, but he's a little small.
Evan Anderson out of FAU. He's a day 3 pick.
Is he?
Big body. Take a look at him.
Check him out.
He's a sleeper day 3 guy.
All right, I'll check him out. But you need, if you're going to run that Raven system, they got Jones and they got Michael Pierce, 2 giants, to play that 3, the 50 look with the 3 guys inside. So I don't know. We got Peely, who I like, but he's a young kid. They got Jones from Detroit. He was Benito Jones, but I'm not really big on him. They got what's his face? From the Titans. What do we get? That was a guy from the Titans.
I know who you're talking about. I can't think of it.
It takes me a while to remember names. Yeah. Hold on. So I got it right here. Oh man, what is it? Tart. They got Tart.
Yeah.
But he's not a 1 or 0. He's maybe occasionally. So I just feel like we're really
more of a penetrator.
We're going to be playing the Jets and we're going to be playing the Bills and we're going to be playing a lot of teams that run inside. So
the Patriots are going to be banging inside.
They could steal one from us, So, but it's still offensive lines. Brewer's kind of like hot and cold. He's very small. I'm not big on Eichenberger, Jackson, or Wynn, and then Tehran. So I think it's got to be offensive line if the right guy's there, and then D line on the second. I wanted Jackson Powers Johnson. Yeah. And then in the second round, I wanted Sweat. But They're saying he's got character problems and injury problems.
He just got DUI.
Yeah. Who?
Sweat.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind that.
And JP.
No, to me, I said the same thing. As long as he learns from the mistake, he's young. He's lucky nothing bad happened.
Yeah.
Learn from your mistake and move on. Move forward.
So it's got to be offensive line and D interior for me.
Jackson Power Johnson, they say actually has snap issues.
Yeah.
So he'll probably start at guard.
We need that because we spent all the money on Brewer, so it's perfect for us.
Yeah,
we're not taking him
Brewer that much money.
There's no way we're taking him at 21 with the injury history and some character concerns, and then Greer doesn't do that. So it's going to have to be a receiver, tackle, or like maybe.
You think they're going to go receiver?
Here Newton they might like too.
You think they're going to go receiver?
Why not? I mean, Hill's going to be out of here in 2 years. Next year, Wild's going to be making $75 million a season. So why not? I mean,
Hill did say he was going to retire early. By the way,
yeah.
I don't think he said he's not going anywhere after mine. Now that could change, obviously, but
they're going to dump him at the 26. He's locked in this year and next year.
Right before he makes that $50 million a year, they're going to
definitely.
They're going to either A, extend him and bring that money down, or B, release him so they don't have to pay it. Because I think after this year, all his guarantees are done.
Something but they can't get rid of him. I think they can get rid of him next year.
Because they redid his deal to free up money.
Yeah.
Huh? Okay.
So post June, I think it's 22 free and 11 lost. So they really can't move off him next year because they don't have a lot of money next year. We only got 31 million. So I think 26 is the year that he's gone. So maybe they want to. If one of these good guys falls to us, but I just think it's got to be offensive line, but offensive line or D line. Maybe you find that your interior offensive line in that second round.
There's a ton of them. There's a lot of day two interiors that look real good. Cooper Beebe, I want the Bills to take him so bad. That guy can play any of the four, play both guards and both tackle spots.
Yeah, he fits better than for us though, because we get all that zone stretch. You guys, I think it would fit a lot better for you guys.
Yeah, somebody like Frazier, the center. He can also play. He can also play guard. He moves. He moves. There's a lot of those types that are out there in day two, early day three. So it'll be interesting. Speaking of wide receivers, Jason comes in and said, "Did you hear Bean's press conference?" They asked, "Do you need a certified number one?" And he said, "Not really." So I'm going to ask Tommy first. Tommy, do you believe Bean, or do you think it's Draft's head games?
No, that's a tough. Maybe I don't know what to feel about that because in a way he's right. Depending on how your system is your offensive system is, right? We don't know though. That's the problem right now. Like we don't know because Joe Brady, it's going to be brand new in a way, right?
Yeah.
So we don't know what the offense is going to be like under Joe Brady. But I feel like if you have enough decent weapons around and a really good quarterback, which we have, and Josh Allen, great quarterback, really top 5. Then yeah, you probably don't. You can get away with not having a number one, but I don't think it's a smart decision either. Like I feel like you still need to have, obviously Patrick Mahomes got away with it last year. There's some cases, but for the most part, quarterbacks have their guy, and you have to have that one top tier receiver. And I think he's just blowing a little smoke there. He knows that we need to get a future receiver in this draft that's going to be that take over that Diggs role as the number one. Because right now, Curtis Samuel, for as much as I like him, he's not that guy to lead the team in receptions and yard. Like he's just, I like him. He's a good player, but he's more of a hybrid tight end, and I love him. And I think he can be. I think he can be up there in the future, but that's in the future, Mikey. And I've said it before. I think with tight ends a little bit different with Kincaid. I think we're going to see the best of him by like year 3, year 4 is when you're going to really see Dalton Kincaid like shine, take off. Yeah. So do we have all that time to wait for Dalton Kincaid to shine? No. And why not get that true number one next to a Dalton Kincaid who's going to shine in a year or two? And now you got that dynamic force and the receiver and tight end.
Then let me ask you this. do you think we need to trade for a receiver rather than draft a receiver? Because if you draft one, you're not getting a alpha number one straight out the
unless
draft.
You trade up. Well,
unless you get in the top 10 to grab one of those top 3.
I agree with that. But I think we will trade up. And how far up? I don't know. I think it all depends on how Brandon Beane feels about that guy. I like Josh Allen in 2018, like Tremaine Edmonds in 2018. You saw it then. You saw it for Tremaine. So it wasn't even just Josh. It was Tremaine as well. He's willing to go up, and he's willing to do what it takes if he feels like this guy is going to make that big of a difference. But on the flip side, if there's no takers, right? Like it takes 2 to tango. Would he trade for a Ayuk or a Higgins? I guess, but where's the money coming from? Then you got to figure out how you're going to pay this guy, because all these guys want to be gone because they want contracts. It's not like they want to be gone because they hate their location. They want to get paid. And I don't know if that's the smartest decision right now, especially after we just got rid of somebody that we paid and it didn't work out. So, like, if I'm the Bills, I'm trading up. You get your rookie that you want. He's on a rookie deal, and you better hope it fucking works. He's the guy, right?
That's a big gamble.
Also too.
That's a
It is a big gamble, but it's a big gamble if you also trade for a player and it winds up not working out.
But you know what's not a gamble? Staying at 28 or moving back and adding to it. If you're giving up next year's one,
depending on I think it depends on the draft slides,
Mikey. And all these things to get up to the top. I mean, that's a huge gamble.
Listen, I'm with you on that. By the way, real quick, sorry to cut you off.
No, it's fine.
It depends on how the draft is going in round 1 early on. Okay. If certain guys are dropping that you feel like, and we talked about this last Friday, if you could get your speed guy like a Worthy and a Coleman in round 2, and you could kind of get both, I'm good with it. Right. And then you also get an asset for trading back or whatever you do. You know what I mean? If you feel like both are going to go in round 2. But I just feel like Brandon Beane right now is looking for that one, even though he said he's not, or whatever he said that, you don't need to have it. I truly believe that. And by the way, Josh even admitted in his conference that he tells him, hey, I like this guy. Like, I like that guy. So trust me, Josh is going to give him some words and say, I like it. Now, will he listen? Who knows? But if Josh really likes the guy, I wonder if that also, makes his decision a little bit easier.
Dalton Kincaid last year, and we moved up and got Dalton Kincaid.
Exactly. So imagine, what if he says, hey, this guy's dropping a few.
I want Brian Thomas. Go get me Brian Thomas.
Exactly. And he goes, hey, I think we can make it.
If Rome passes 7 or 8, go get me Rome.
Right. So I'm just saying, like, I feel like I wanted, Brandon Beane has said a lot of things that
it's draft season. You can't believe everything. So Curtis, same question for you as an outsider. Do the Bills need to draft a first round wide receiver to try to get a wide receiver 1? Or do you think what they have plus maybe a round 2, round 4 wide receivers would work?
I think for me, I've been talking about how the Bills need to have a more conventional style, run the football, take the focus off Allen, get him to stop running. I think that's where they're going. You got Knox. You're paying him tons of money. You got Kincaid. You spent a first-round pick. You got Samuel, who's something you haven't had for a while. This guy's elite speed. And he can do some of that tricky kind of stuff to get in space. And he's going to be dangerous. And then look at Shakir. I mean, Tommy talked about Shakir. He's like, Curtis, Shakir. I'm like, yeah, right. And this guy turned out to be really good. You got him, what is it, 4th round or something?
No, later than that.
Yeah. So you need another receiver. But if this is the deepest draft we've seen in a long time, then you can find a guy. Because, look, if you go get a top receiver, Samuel's here for like 2 years. You got Shakir. You got Knox. There's only so much football that can go around. I think that, if you look at what you're trying to build here, you want defense. You need to find a guy to play, get in that safety spot. And, maybe you don't find him in the first round, but you do need D tackle help. I mean, what's his name? Q guy, man. Who's the guy? Daquan.
He's back.
He's good, but he's old. He's coming off an injury. Oliver, you need another guy. And then, even Vaughn, if he's good, you need another guy in there. Your defense is if it was from what I'm seeing and what I've been saying, you just need to play smart, physical football, defense, run the football, let Allen make those big plays. Samuel's going to have some big plays over the top. I mean, you run legitimate play action. He does a double move and goes vertical. He's going to be open and Allen can hit him. You got Shakir working underneath. You got Kincaid who can come off that play action. You got a lot of tools, man. I think, you're talking Leggett in that second round. There's all the guys. Look how Detroit built their receiving group. That's a Saint, whatever his name is. They got him
St. Brown, third.
Yeah, you can find a guy in a good draft. You don't
need
that first pick. I think you got for the Bills, you need to shore up that defense. You need to maybe, find if some awesome guys on the offensive line, you're going to pay Brown that big money next season. I think he's a free agent. But I think it's defense first round, or if some stud if one of these like the Brian, what's his face, I like that kid,
Brian Thomas Jr.
If he drops, and maybe you go up and get him, but you're not going, trading up 10 and getting rid of a second round pick and stuff. Your team's too good for that. You need to flesh this thing out, get that cap under control. I think you have plenty of weapons. I mean, Allen is a weapon. It's just. You got to, and just run that football. I like your backup running back. I like Cook. I like the offensive line. Cecil Collins coming in. Edwards at left guard. Is Torrance, does he got a sophomore slump? Does he take a step forward? There's a lot of stuff for this team. I think depth is the biggest problem for you guys in that D tackle spot, edge spot, safety spot. Maybe receiver. If Samuel goes down, you're naked. So find a guy in the second, third round.
See, here's the thing. We already have 4 D tackles under contract, all former starters. So I don't think they're going to draft a defensive tackle this year, because that's what the Bills do. They just throw money at 1-year guys. They have DQ and they have Oliver as the starters, and they brought in, two depth guys that they really seem to like as the backups, and they're all guys who
imagine if Murphy falls to you at 28 somehow.
It'd be hard to pass on Murphy. Where I'm looking from
Newton, if he's in range,
I would want Murphy over Newton. Newton's
too. Yeah, I like him.
Newton's more of a pass rusher. He doesn't play the run very well because
he's got
really high really quick. He gets really high really quick, and and maybe he just needs some better coaching, because but where I could see the Bills really going away from wide receiver 1 in the first round is that edge. If one of those 3 edges falls, I could see the Bill, and I wouldn't be surprised if Chop Robinson is one of the guys that they take late.
That would be big.
Definitely,
because Russo, you're going to lock down, I'm supposing, right?
Yeah, they said after he'll get his 5th-year option.
But then, how much longer do you got Vaughn for? Is he?
He's gone after this year.
Yeah,
he redid his contract where he has no more.
Edge.
Yeah, he has no more guarantees after this year.
Yeah,
we re-signed AJ for 3 years, I think, 2 or 3 years. So, and then we brought in Tuhill as the DN4, but you can upgrade DN4.
Yeah.
So if we don't go wide receiver in the first round, I see it, maybe an edge. The sneaky one people are talking about is corner, because we have Benford locked down, or we will have him locked down. We have him for a couple more years, but on the other side, he's on a 1-year deal. So but are they really gonna? They already have.
I like that kid we were talking about. That I think he's kind of scheduled to be like
Cooper DeJean.
Yeah, I like him a lot for you guys.
Play safety or corner.
I like him a lot for you guys.
He seems like a Sean McDermott type of player too.
Definitely.
The guy who has the versatility, isn't elite in one spot, but super good and multiple.
Because Rapp ain't a guy you don't want him playing high safety, man. He struggles.
He's a box guy.
Yeah, totally. You don't really have another safety. You like the other guy was Edwards or whatever.
Edwards.
Yeah, but
I don't think Edwards is a Pro Bowler by any means, but I think he's a solid starter. And Sean McDermott finds a way to get the best out of all the secondary guys.
Yeah,
Jordan
absolutely.
Poyer was a journeyman who wasn't anything until he got with Sean McDermott.
He was a corner.
Hyde, yeah.
Who?
Micah Hyde.
Yeah.
Joined
Poyer.
and
Played for
Hyde
Cleveland.
was
He
a
injuries
cast-off
and corner.
from Green Bay.
Yep.
They got with McDermott, and they both became all pros.
What's the thing? If you guys, I don't know what you guys are. We were talking before. Like, you guys going more to man, or are you going to be balanced between man and zone?
It's a new defensive coordinator. So we're not exactly sure. Seeing White gone, Poyer gone,
What about
Hyde
Elam?
gone.
How's he doing?
Elam, we have a new secondaries coach. Like, our coaching staff is all brand new on both sides of the ball too.
Wow.
You know, so not only did we make a changeover on our roster, we made a changeover on our coaching staff.
Well, Brady's still there, right?
Brady's
yeah.
back.
We gave Brady. Yeah, we gave Brady the extent. We signed him.
Same
Yeah.
O-line
You know,
coach, same O-line coach.
Same O-line coach, but
Cromer's
those are the
still
only
there.
two.
Yep.
So we have a newer wide receiver coach. We have a brand new a new running backs coach. New quarterbacks coach.
Who's the new quarterback coach?
God, what is his name? I can't think of his name. He came over from the
Bring
Saints.
Dorsey back.
No,
I like
Dorsey's
that.
the offensive
Shake
coordinator.
Dorsey's with
Cleveland.
Cleveland. Dorsey with Cleveland.
Yeah, I can't think of his name right now. He's a former college quarterback. And Ronald Curry.
Oh, yes,
Ronald
yes,
Curry is the quarterback coach.
Yes.
I know.
So he was a quarterback in college, turned wide receiver in the pros. He comes from the Sean McDermott, and him and Joe Brady worked together in New Orleans.
And didn't Samuel have his best season with Brady too?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I tell you,
Don't know how to
I
use
really, I like what I think. I don't know if Brady's got the top end, ability, but I liked what he installed last year. I was like pretty much what I was hoping for you guys as an outsider. So I think I think you guys are pretty much set up. I think it's fine tooling as long as you don't get injuries.
Yeah, and that's
Because
what's killed us the last 2
goes down,
years.
the ground goes
Right.
down. You're in trouble at tackle. What do you got as a backup tackle?
Tackles, we have Collins and we have Vandermark, who was actually really good last year.
Yes,
in
not
place
Collins.
of
No,
Dion.
put Collins there. He's no good.
Collins will be will be guard and
Yeah.
tackles flex out
way
right.
better guard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he'll also be, because Vandermark can't play right guard
Yeah,
or
okay.
right tackle. He's a left tackle only. So
Right.
Collins will be that.
It was a
that-
good pickup.
that right tackle.
Collins was a real good pickup.
He
He was on the Chief too, right?
Yeah, it's real.
Oh yeah. Cheap.
Yeah, it's up to
not
6
that
million.
much.
Yeah, it's up to 6 million. So if he hits incentives and all that,
Right.
Very
it'll
cool.
be interesting to see on the interior, because we got rid of all of our depth on the interior.
Yeah.
We Morris went to Jacksonville. We traded Bates to Chicago. We kicked McGovern to center, and
I
we're
don't know how
starting
that's
Edwards.
the only question I got is McGovern at center.
Me too. I've been saying that. Everybody
I
thinks
like
it's so.
Edwards.
It's,
I think Edwards is a
it's
sleeper
Listen,
for you
I
guys.
trust our offensive line coach. If he thinks he's going to be good at center,
yeah. Cromer's great. Yeah, Cromer's.
Cromer said okay to him being the center over Bates, because Bates was in house. We thought he was going to be the heir apparent, and then they traded him and kicked McGovern inside. So Cromer must have seen something that he liked.
Yeah.
He's played center before, right?
In
He
college.
played in college.
And he,
yeah.
and he played a couple games for Dallas at center.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
never a full season. It's always been spots.
Never full season, and never with Josh Allen. Really, like he's gonna have to get that communication that Morse had with Allen. Like they're gonna have to build that communication, that reputation together. Like, so we'll see but that's all in camp, man. That's all in camp.
What am I trying to trick you on?
Because you said that the Bills were good, and they just work on depth.
How could you not? I mean, it's so ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like you, it's not to say you're going to win a Super Bowl, but how can you think that the Bills are not going to at least be vying for division lead and stuff? I mean,
Last year they said
I don't think
they
it's
were
even
gonna
a
be
stretch
third.
of the imagination.
They said it every year, Kurt.
Yeah.
Like Curtis, come on. Like it's,
Josh
like,
Allen
we
is
don't
going to
even-
regress
All right.
again this year, and he's going to be the worst.
We've
quarterback ever.
heard it before. Yeah, we've heard it before.
Last year the Bills were supposed to end up in third. The Jets were supposed to be first. Dolphins were supposed to be second, and you guys were both supposed to make the playoffs, and the Bills were supposed to be left out.
If you just ditched Dorsey early, it would have been an easier ride, man.
Listen, I feel bad for Dorsey. I don't think it was truly Dorsey's fault. I think Dorsey was following the game plan of what McDermott wanted, And by the time we actually canned him, because let's be honest, he got canned because we fumbled. Dorsey didn't fumble the ball. You know,
no, but
Dorsey,
from in my eyes, he made so many questions. Go back to the volcano game against the Dolphins last year. How are you not at the 1 yard line with Josh Allen, and then you go from shotgun and do a draw? Like there was so many of those. I don't know. To me, Dorsey is a shaky kind of guy.
There was no motion. It was very basic. It was very basic.
Yeah, very basic.
They told Josh not to run. You saw he was going to run. He stopped, and then he'd throw a deep one and get picked off. Like they messed with his head. And once they fired him, they came in. They said, "Okay, I'm got to run Josh. I got to unleash him. I can't just have him stand back there because it was just we didn't have the."
He was a different. Yeah, he was different. Like you. I always tell people, man, like you have to be you have to watch the Buffalo Bills like how we watch the Buffalo Bills, me and Mikey, right? And you will know the difference between Josh Allen week 1 through whatever, until Joe Brady took over. You see how he just was, his body language, everything was different. He was so hesitant. He never was like that leading up to last year. And then when Joe Brady took over, I kind of feel like McDermott at that time was just like, we have no choice. Just go ahead and let Josh, do what he did before. Because what we were doing, what I thought was going to work by limiting him and doing this trying to do this, 12 personnel. It didn't work. It really I think it really messed up the flow of the offense and Josh. And it wasn't right. And you could see it in every body language of the players. Diggs was happy because Diggs was still getting his. But if you notice, Curtis, when Brady took over, Diggs' numbers totally went down because Brady opened the offense up. He got Shakir more involved. He got the other player. He got Cook going, right? James Cook started to run better. Like everybody was contributing. And then Diggs, that's where Diggs started to do the pounding thing again.
Tried to get him the ball and those bubbles, things like that.
Yeah.
That's not Diggs' game.
Right.
I think honestly, that's one of the reasons why Diggs isn't here this year. It's why he wanted to leave because he doesn't fit Joe Brady's offense. He's not that short, quick bubble, yak kind of receiver. That's just not Diggs.
Yeah. And I'm with you. I'm with you.
If he had caught that pass, you guys would have.
He should have caught the pass, Curtis. Totally. And listen, I'm with you on Samuel, man. I think Samuel, and I keep telling everybody here too, and Mikey too. I think he's going to be a big part of this offense, a game plan, week in, week out. I think he is a dynamic player with speed. I think he's like a Swiss Army knife. He's what the Bills are.
40, man.
Yeah, he's a Deebo Samuel that's like not as built. You know what I mean? He's not as physical, but he could do everything that Deebo does. And I think he's faster than Deebo. So I just feel like Joe Brady's going to really have fun with that weapon. And I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. He hasn't played with a great quarterback like Josh Allen, with a good system in, like Buffalo has with everything around him, coaching staff. Like he's been all over everywhere. Right. So I think Curtis Samuel is going to be better than what a lot of people think he's going to be.
Yeah. I don't know why people are down. He's had really good stats with like no quarterback. And
Exactly.
His functionality, man.
Right.
And my favorite part about him,
you got the pieces. You got the guy, the vertical guy to put leverage on the secondary. Right. You got the guy to work underneath. You got you Kincaid. Hollins is just like he's like a little option.
He's a special teams guy.
Yeah. He's a special teams. He's
a functional.
He can make some catches for you, though. He can make some catches for you.
Wide receiver 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. I think he'll be a bubble guy going into. Unless he makes a special
I don't think he'll be a bumble. I think he's gonna be a special team.
I think it depends on my receiver. If we draft 2 receivers, or we trade for a receiver and draft another receiver, right? There's going to be a lot of receivers on his team. Not to mention the guys we had last year that are trying to compete for a roster spot like Justin Shorter, which I still don't think Justin Shorter makes that roster at the 53.
Justin Shorter, love it, don't you?
But I still have to throw because you never know. But I just feel like unless he makes special teams, I don't see him being like part of the offensive game plan. I just don't see it. But we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he has a connection with Josh early on, and in preseason he looks good. But I just don't. I don't see it happening. I don't. And we have other receivers just as tall that would look pretty
What's
good
that
last year.
Shavers guy, man? So
Shavers, yeah, right. That's the other guy, and he looked good. He had a decent preseason.
He had a really good preseason.
Yeah.
And Shorter actually had a good preseason until he got hurt.
He got hurt. Yep. He had a touchdown.
What Hollins brings also is some of the leadership that we were missing. And most of his stops, he's been a captain. Even though he's only been there for a short time, he's always been a captain. It's been a special teams captain. That we've lost 6 of our captains this year. The only ones left are Vaughn and Josh.
Yeah, wild, right?
All the other captains are gone from last year. So that's why I think Hollins will be okay, and he's a really good special teams guy and a depth receiver. What I was talking about Samuels, what I like most about him is you're not just going to put him on the outside, you're not just going to put him on the inside. You'll put him in the backfield too. You can put him anywhere.
Exactly.
He's versatile.
Exactly.
So we'll scheme up, plays to him, but nobody will know where he's at. Like you knew where Diggs was going to be all the time. You have no idea where Samuels is going to be. It's very much like Debo. He's not as big as Debo and he doesn't run like Debo, but he'll be moved all over the formation like Debo was.
And then Cook's another one for you. That guy catches a couple passes, it's going to be a lot. He's a threat too. So you have some, a series of players that can cause issues.
Yeah. Justin Shorter Triggs was
Of course, my Dolphins are going to smash you.
Yeah.
We're going to win 99-0.
Okay. Shorter was a project player, Triggs.
Why not, right? Sure.
Everybody knows that.
I didn't like the Shorter pick at the time because I thought there was better receivers that could have made more of an impact. They played the lotto. He has all the physical tools to be a alpha receiver if they can find a way to bring it out of him.
Yeah, and fix some of the bad qualities, the bad in him, because he has some bad stuff.
Do we agree that Dion and Bernard will have C's on their chest this year? I think Terrell Bernard will be a captain. I think Dion will be a captain.
Yeah, I think Dion. Yeah, I think it's
I wouldn't be surprised to see Teron Johnson as a captain either. So
here's my thoughts about Dion too. I think why Dion should get to see losing, and this is another concern I have with the whole. We talked about this, losing Mitch Morse, who I said eventually he would have to go, right? Like he's aging and contract, but right now Dion Dawkins is like he's going to have to take the role of Mitch Morse and be the leader of the offensive line. Like, you know what I mean? He's the longest player there. It's been the longest. He's our best offensive lineman right now. He's the most vocal. He needs to be the captain. He has to take over the Mitch Morse role because I can't see McGovern being that guy. Like Dion Dawkins is the veteran now. He has to take that C and he has to control that offensive line and be the guy. So
I would agree.
Yeah.
Scott comes in and says, Cassell said, based on where Diggs is at in his career, Samuel's is a good replacement. He also said Diggs was a number 1 in Buffalo, but he wouldn't be on many other teams. I don't think Diggs is going to be the number 1 in Houston. Nico Collins is their number 1. I'll be interested to see how that plays out. Because
Tank Dell is also
they're Tank Dell, Nico, Noah Brown, and Diggs. Diggs isn't going to see the 160 targets he saw in Buffalo. So how's he going to handle that?
Right.
He got 160 targets a year and was still not happy. Okay. Grass isn't always green on the other side, brother. Any free agent wide receivers we could be interested in after the draft? There are a couple, Dallas.
There is. Yep, definitely.
One that they're talking about that I don't want to see come here, but they're talking about it is OBJ. They can see us grab a round 2 wide receiver and grab like an OBJ.
How could you afford him?
Because after last year, OBJ's price is going to drop.
You think so?
Yeah, but I still don't want him.
I don't either.
Yeah,
but he's a veteran. There'll also be some other veterans that get released after the draft as people pick up because it's a super deep draft this year. You're going to see some high price guys go bye-bye, and I can see one of those guys coming over. Michael Thomas is still out there. I can see Michael Thomas. He knows Brady. He knows Ronald Curry. He fits into Brady's offense, which is the Saints' old offense. I can see him as a guy because he's an X that can play out there.
And he looked good until he
got hurt.
Yeah, he's a solid man. When healthy, Yeah, that's the problem with him. Yep, I agree.
But if you bring him in and you draft a receiver, you don't need to start. You can bring that receiver along slow, and you can run your offense with Thomas, Shakir, and Samuel, and then bring your wide receiver in, a little bit slower. So there are a few out there that still pique my interest, Dallas. I'll be interested to see what Bean does after. If we draft 2, I wouldn't expect us to go.
No, it ain't happening. Yeah, it ain't.
Especially if we draft 2, in the first
early part of the Yep.
If we take a flyer late, like in round 7, round 6, or round 7, then those guys aren't guaranteed roster spots. I can see us going to get one. But if we draft one, between round 1 through 4, I don't see us going to get a veteran.
Yep. I see us getting a veteran running back because I don't see many in this draft, and we still need that bruising running back.
There's a couple. There's a couple out there.
Ty Johnson, pretty bruising. That guy's
no.
He runs hard. He's not. He's a bruiser.
Better. Yeah, he runs hard. Yeah, but he's not a bruiser. He's not a guy that's gonna. He's in between the tackles.
He's a solid running back 2-3. It gives you special teams ability as well. So if we go out and get someone in day 3, someone like Braylon Allen, who's like 6'2", 245, can be that big bruiser. He just doesn't have a lot of He doesn't have a lot of athleticism. So he'll get hit and take you 2-3 yards. He's going to be that short yardage guy.
Yeah,
Hammer. Yeah,
which you need to have on a team, which we don't.
Yeah. From Notre Dame, he's not a big guy, but he's a powerful guy. Doesn't run real fast, but is really good in the holes. Can make people miss in the phone booth. Ray Davis out of Kentucky. All these guys are day 3 guys that I can see us going to get. And if we don't grab one, I can see us going to sign someone like
Elliott.
Zeke.
Yep.
Short yardage, really good in pass protection. Ideal.
Been around, right? Yeah. Been around. Can catch the ball off the backfield as well. Yep.
Triggs, Ricky Purcell is going to be Puka-Nacua of this coming draft. I like Purcell. I don't know if he's going to be Puka-Nacua. You got to fit in the right offense for the Puka-Nacua. Puka was so good because A, Cooper Kupp got hurt early, so he got a lot of targets, and B, he went to a Sean McVay offense that just knows how to scheme guys open. You know, but that's
a really good quarterback. And a really good quarterback that's accurate and could sling it. So
yep. I also don't think Purcell's going to be around 2 guys, so he's not going to fall into the Puka-Nacua late round 5 guys. If you want a late round guy, Luke McCaffrey is a late round guy, slot guy.
He's interesting.
Bigger.
Yep.
He's interesting. He's only 2 years at the position. He spent the previous years as a quarterback. He's a bigger slot. Then there's a few other guys out there that are late round guys that could follow the Puka-Nacua mold, but really it's all about finding the right fit for an offense.
Mm-hmm.
And McVay's one of the best schemers the NFL has. Diggs is gonna whine like a kid in the store when they rarely use him. Listen, and Houston, we go to Houston to play him, so that's gonna be a primetime game, right? They're going to want to play that Diggs Allen stuff up on primetime.
Right.
It's happening. Diggs was a third. I'm just saying, Diggs was actually a 5th rounder. Okay. Scott Blake comes in and says, we're resetting. Yes, we have a true balanced attack. Curtis has been screaming for that for 2 years. That's the evolution. You're not wrong. He has been telling us for 2 years, run the damn ball. You know who else has been yelling?
We're saying for my team too, so don't feel bad.
Yeah.
Right. Tommy's favorite talking head has been saying that for 2 years too, for 2 or 3 years too. Colin Cowherd. He's been like,
Cowherd,
why can't they get a running game? Like, it can't be that difficult to get a running game. Someone give Josh Allen some help.
It makes him so potent.
Mm-hmm.
That run game really it works so well with his talents.
Purcell good for the new kickoff. It's not just Purcell would be good for the kickoff. Can you imagine Leggett taking those kickoffs and that new kickoff rule?
Oh man, dude.
Oh,
even Samuel. I mean, Sam, if he wanted to do it, which I don't think we would, but you never know.
You think week 1, Scott? You think Houston? You think NFL would put Houston, Buffalo at Houston week 1 on either Sunday night or Monday night? Curtis,
I think it's a primetime game.
It's a primetime game. But do you think they do it week 1?
That's ballsy. I don't know. I don't think they throw that out the gate right away.
That'd be a really good opening, though, man.
It would be a hell of a.
Would you put it Sunday or Monday?
The Texans, who everyone's talking up, and if they can dethrone the Bills, it would look like they climbed over, and if not, then the Bills would look like they're still in control.
You made the right choice, and
primetime games, and then you have the Texans trying to grow.
When's the schedule
You have the Diggs Allen after the draft.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it.
I know, dude.
You want to know what's crazy? The NFL. The NFL is great all year long. Then you have the playoffs and the Super Bowl, and it's fantastic. And then it jumps right into the offseason building. It never sleeps. The NFL never sleeps. No. We're excited about the schedule being released.
So sad, isn't it, in some ways?
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Curtis, y'all had a lot of challenges and changes happening also. Good luck, because you're going to still need 20-year drought. Just saying.
It's all right, Amy. It's all right, Amy. We'll see. I don't know. It's my I don't know. I'm a big offensive line guy. My team doesn't like offensive line, so I don't know. I'm just waiting to see what's going on. I think it's going to be very interesting. Just imagine you got the Bills, Jets, and Dolphins. They all need success this year, and likely one of them is going to get screwed. And the Jets, they do it 2 years in a row. Can you imagine how brutal that is? Or even like my Dolphins, we go to the postseason twice, and now we got the right team, and all of a sudden we're bumped out. Or then you guys, just imagine that. You've been running the division, and all of a sudden you find yourself. It's going to be very AFC.
We can't get over the Chiefs.
Yep,
can't get over that hump.
No, and we've been through. Even though it means nothing, we've given the Chiefs probably the toughest battle
every year.
Every year,
13 seconds.
I mean, we should have won last year. We should have won. Like the only game I would say that
happen again
was the 2020 game. I get, you know what I mean? We weren't quite there yet. They were, approved, like they already been there. Like, but 2021, and then man, it's just like, and then last year, but we gave them the hardest battle, man. I mean, look at they smoked Baltimore. Like, we just could not.
Bengals battle.
They more 17 points.
The Bengals are another team that gives us fits when healthy. Yeah. The problem with the Bengals is they can't stay healthy.
It's that defensive coordinator, man. Lou Anarumo just has a way of messing with Josh.
Yeah,
Bill Belichick can't
does
do
the same thing with Mahomes. I mean, Bengals took them out. What 2 playoffs?
Yeah, and
they did a phenomenal job.
Everyone, praised Joe Burrow for those playoff wins, but really it was that defense that did it.
Yeah, especially down at the end. Yeah.
It's that defense that's been carrying them. It's beautiful though, But we'll see what the Bengals look like this year with Joe coming back.
I heard some reports saying he lost 20% of his grip on the ball with that injury.
Ooh, that's not good. It's not good when it comes to.
He's a darn good quarterback.
He tore that thumb tendon completely.
Oh yeah. What do you expect? The guy gets his head hammered in week after week. I mean, the Bengals. Yeah, I like them. I want to see them do well. But there's some serious ineptitude. How does it take you that long to build an offense line around this kid?
Look at what Indy did. They hurt Peyton and went right into Andrew Luck, and they never built an offensive line around him.
Stupid. I mean, they must be doing more coke than studying football, man. Like, how do you not figure that out? You're watching these games week in, week out. You seen a guy get lit up like a Christmas tree, and then you're like, they'd
rather these shiny toys. If you go back and look at Tom Brady, outside of Randy Moss, never had super shiny toys, but he always had a really good offensive line in front of him.
Garnecki is one of the best of all time. That guy is seriously that he is. You almost want to give him as much credit as Bill Belichick, because what he did with that offense, they ran 3 schemes. They ran man, zone, outside zone. They ran gap 4, and they would change it week to week. That's why it was so hard to deal with them. And he got the guys. He was unbelievable, man.
I mean, look at Denver in when Peyton Manning won the Super Bowl with them, and he'd even play well. But because they had that dynamic offensive line and defense,
non-delusional.
they won.
Today I took my sanity pills, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Curtis is probably one of the realest, because Curtis is a football fan at heart. Like, he loves his Dolphins, but he's not just a Dolphins fan. He's a football fanatic. He loves the game.
I hate to be wrong.
And he hates to be wrong.
I hate to be wrong.
Right.
I did enough of that in my youth.
So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
I think so. I think there's going to be. I said last year. I thought last year was going to be amazing. I thought all 4 AFC East teams. I love when the AFC East is like. I mean, it's a buzzsaw because you come out blooded like that. That team they're ready to go for the playoffs. I thought my Dolphins got an easy ride last year, and it just kind of when you get the easy ride, it sets you up. Unless of course you're Peyton Manning, You get no in your division for 20 years or whatever it is. But
did they get an easy ride?
Peyton Manning, yeah, they had
no. I'm saying your Dolphins last year. Did they get?
I think so, yeah. Because look, right out the gate, they lost Aaron Rodgers. That's 2 games right there. And then you have Bill Belichick doing his crazy stuff with Jones. So that's even more stuff that's going your way. And then the Bills had their problems with the OC and figuring it out. You beat us twice, but still every game you're losing because like the confusion helps us out. And, I thought like the way it was laid out for us, it really went well. Then the injuries came and it kind of screwed us, but we were 7-3. We were poised. And then it was like, and then it was like the top of the roller coaster. Woo!
And then here comes the Bills. And the Bills start chasing you down.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's one of those.
It's a long stretch, man. That's a lot of people don't realize that. We always say that it's like it's a marathon, man. Like it's what team gets hot at the end, man. And it seems like the Bills, because we, at that point, like we've had the same roster and team. Now that's what this year I will say is a little different now. Yeah. So in the past, we've been able to rally our troops even when things weren't looking good because we had a lot of leaders on our team that have been there a long time that could pick up, all right, guys, figure it out.
7-game runs.
Exactly. So now my worry, I guess, really a little concerned, especially on the defense side, we don't have those leaders in Poyer and Hyde back there anymore. Von, who knows what we're getting out of Von. It's just a lot of things going on now that's a little bit different. And we'll see, but hopefully we don't get in that predicament.
I don't want to give you Bills any extra juice, but I'm telling you, like, I played a little bit of football, junior college. I really studied for years. The hardest part in football is to be consistent. And when you add physicality, when you add run game, and you marry that with a good quarterback and a defense, it creates stability. It's predictable. You can, we blew it. Oh, we blew it. All right. We blew it. Yeah, blew it. We had like a double gun. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
That was unbelievable. And I think Curtis went to bed, right? You thought you won.
Lights went out, and I was watching on YouTube, and it was like 5 minutes. I'm like, I'm tired of like going because it kept kicking me off and stuff. I'm like, we won. I'm going to bed. I woke up the next morning, she's like, what happened last night, babe? My wife, I'm like, we won, but I had to shut it off. And I'm like, what? We lost.
Dude, we were on live that night, Monday. I think it was Monday night, and me and Mikey and we got off, and I think I texted Mikey because Mikey went to lunch. I went to dinner or something. And I text Mikey, and this shit's done, man. The fuck, because you guys did back to back. I mean, talk about I'm big into momentum swings. When a momentum swing happens, usually that team it's over with, right? And you guys did this giant momentum swing. Touchdown, they fumbled, touchdown radio. I told Mikey, fuck, it's over. And then I have no idea I couldn't believe what I was watching. And then Tua just had Tua looked so scared at the last. I didn't know what was like. It's just like you guys melted away.
Well, you got to understand something. I mean, we played Tennessee in 21, and it might have the blueprint might have came out before that, but I made a really big detailed study on it. And teams play nickel, but teams can play us nickel, run 4 linemen, stop the run, play off. They cover what we do, which is a pocket post, the fly, occasional out, screen, and outside run. And then they just load up on those zones. They don't fear our inside run, and then they don't even blitz. And so the problem is that we have a limited menu. We can't run the football. And it goes back to what I was saying with you guys. Now, we're not going to go for panics because then Career's fighting for his career. And if he moves off to it, then he's got too many holes in his resume, and he's afraid he'll get fired. So it's really Greer's trying to hold on to his gig right now. So that's not happening. Whether it should, it's another story, but it won't happen. But the running the football settles everything down. A tired defense gives up play. A rested defense makes plays. And defense and offensive line and run game creates consistency. When you throw the ball too much and you can't run it, it's all helter-skelter. It's like all, everything is like on the edge. And you can't exist like that. And that's the problem with like passing teams and teams that can't run inside. And that's why I think with you guys, it's going to be more settled. It's going to be more consistent. You're going to understand. That I can run the ball and get this. I know I can. And when you have that, that's a problem with you guys. It was always shotguns and helter-skelter, Alan bail us out. You can't bank on that. Eventually that well goes dry.
Yeah, Alan talked about that. The way the offense ran before was, okay, look for this guy. If this guy isn't open, then start just trying to make a play. Like he talked about Joe Brady talking about the reads with him. He just talked about this the other day. Like
who the dumb reads?
No other. You tell me Dayball and Dorsey didn't talk to him about progression reads?
You know what it was? Alan, we need to win. Get us out of this.
Yeah, that's what it's been.
All right, here we go.
Okay, I want to hit on this one. I've seen a few people asking about it. Pagula is put up 25% stake. Tommy, what's your thoughts on Pagula putting up a minority stake of 25%? Which he bought it for 1.4 billion. Mm-hmm. It's worth almost 4 billion now. So that 25% basically gets him back
back to what he paid. Yeah.
And it helps him cover the overage for the new stadium, which he's responsible
I think that's why he's a billionaire. He's smart. He's smart. That's what they do. Like they know what they're doing with their money. Like it's a smart. He's not selling the team. He's just he knows what he's doing. He's a business.
He's bringing in a partner to help him offset some of these costs.
Listen, man, that's what makes these guys billionaires. They know what they're doing. So no, it's fine. It's fine for him, right? Like, so
basically that money's going to cover the overages and basically give him back his initial investment.
See, I don't see Joey, I don't agree with that. I've said it year after year, and I get it's the same cliche, but just like the Chiefs, right? And it goes towards the Chiefs as well. Until somebody can knock the Chiefs off, they are the Super Bowl champions. I said that last year, and I meant that. Buffalo Bills have ran the AFC East for a long time now. They've been one of the better AFC teams, and until the Dolphins, the Jets, the Patriots can prove otherwise, just like when New England ran the show, and every year we heard it. It's over for New England. It's over for New England. They lost this guy. This guy's. They still ran the show. They ran the show until they finally didn't. So I don't want to hear that. We'll see, but I still have a lot of confidence in the Buffalo Bills winning the division, making it to the playoffs. It's when we get into playoffs is where my confidence, because of our head coach, dwindles a little bit.
Playoffs? Yeah, I'm with
100%. I just can't.
I'm with you on this one, Tommy. I think people are over exaggerating the losses. Yeah. Like we lost Trey White, who hasn't been with us for 2 years.
Right.
We
What
lost
did he
Jordan
contribute?
Poyer, who is a fantastic player and what is a Bills legend and will be a Wall of Famer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
But he's also not been the same player for the last 2 years.
Right.
And Micah Hyde is probably going to retire, and we played with him, without him for a year, and we brought in replacements for these guys. So, outside of that, we lost Diggs.
Right.
We played with Diggs without Diggs down the stretch. Say what you want,
Right.
but we learned how to play without him down the stretch,
or at least playing with him where he wasn't a factor.
Focal point.
A focal point. Yeah, exactly. So, I'm really, and we still, and here's why I still think too. Say what you want about our coach, and I'm not the biggest fan of him. He's still a good coach. He's still a guy that can get your team to the playoff. Okay. I have faith in him to do that much, right? He's still a leader. He's still been there a long time. We have Josh Allen. That's probably the number one thing. I should have started there. He's a franchise quarterback. He's a top 5 quarterback, in my opinion. He's going to make any team where it doesn't matter wherever, he's going to make that team one of the better teams, right? And you still got a young running back in James Cook. You still got a Dalton Kincaid. You still got a Khalil Shakir. You got Curtis Samuel. You got an offensive line. Now, mind you, we switched it around a little bit, but man, you got Dawkins, who's one of the better ones in the league. You got Spencer Brown coming off a fantastic year. So we have a lot of good Torrance, who's a great rookie All-Pro. You have Christian Bedford, who's only getting better year after year after year. You got Russell Douglas coming back, who had 4 interceptions in 4 games, 3 games. So we have still a very good team. You don't know what we're going to get out of Von Miller, right? We don't know. Maybe Von Miller is the Von Miller the first year he got. So Ed Oliver playing at a high level. Matt Milano coming back. Terrell Bernard is only going to get better at the linebacker position. So I would dial it back a little bit and just look at the good we have on this team still, on the young talent and the guys that we're going to draft and pick up still. I wouldn't freak out. I think this team is still a very dangerous team. And if you listen to the national media, they're going to make you think differently. But me watching this team grow, me watching the players that are still on this roster, I still have faith in this team.
Don't forget, you still have 17.
Yeah,
he's an X factor.
Is the main. He's the yeah, exactly.
To me, when I look at this division, I think
absolutely.
I said it I said 2 years ago. I said that it was entering into a running game's arms race, and offensive line and offensive line depth would determine the situation. And last year, you guys had 94% of your starters playing on the offensive line, where the Dolphins had 30. Jets, we know their deal. Pats had the same thing. And, if you look at the Bills, I like their offensive line. I think it's the best in the division, except, I like Onwenu coming back to the Patriots. My Dolphins, that's helter-skelter over there. But then even the Jets, you got Tyron Smith.
Pretty.
What happened?
On paper, it's pretty. The Jets?
Yeah. But one injury, if Dawkins goes down, that run game and that offense is going to have a hard time. Or Brown, because Brown was really good for you in the run blocking.
I don't think it's going to be as bad because we lost Dawkins last year in the middle of the game, and Vandermark came in, and you couldn't tell the difference.
What game was that?
Against you guys.
Okay. Well, what year? Which one? The last game of the year?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but we didn't have Jones. We didn't have.
Yeah, but I'm saying we saw it throughout. We saw it in the Eagles game as well. Dawkins went out early. When the Bills were running up on the Eagles, Vandermark came in, then Dawkins came back in. He's actually a really good left tackle. Where we would struggle is at the right, but now we have Collins in there. If he's 80% of what he used to be, he's a really good backup, plug and play, swing tackle.
We got more depth than the Jets, and the Dolphins have no depth right now. We got Driscoll from the Eagles. He's okay, but I mean, when you look at look at your team, my team, and the Jets, you might see a backup tackle come in and do okay, but when they go against the better teams, when they get into postseason, it really gets exasperated. That difference, to me, if you guys have a healthy offensive line, I think that you guys have a huge edge. Jets, I think, are a dangerous team if they can stay healthy and they can add another piece on the line. My Dolphins, they're going to be dangerous, but man, that offensive line, it is so helter-skelter right now. So I don't know. I think anything can happen, man. Anything can happen. But the offensive lines, I think, are going to dictate a lot. I mean, it always comes down to, you got a good interior. I like Cecil Collins was a huge addition for you. We got Win and stuff like that, but I don't know. We'll see. I think Jets going to be if Jets that offensive line can stay healthy and they don't get like crazy injuries. Sauce goes down for the year. That's going to be a tough team, man. That's going to be a very tough team.
Yeah.
If
Jonathan comes in and says Bills fans worrying about winning the division. Curtis Samuel's no Diggs, no matter how Buffalo tries to convince themselves that Diggs' production can be replaced. Diggs wasn't Diggs. The last 2 years, the second half of the season, Diggs disappeared. Go look at the numbers. He started off as a gangbuster, and down the stretch he would disappear.
Name what he did in the playoffs, Jonathan, that made a difference for this offense. And listen, I'm not. Yeah, exactly. And nobody said Curtis Samuel on this podcast. Nobody said Curtis Samuel is the replacement for Diggs. Nobody said that. But every team eventually loses their receiver, and they go out and get another one. It's football. Or they lose their running back, or they lose their quarterback eventually. You have to eventually, it's the cycle of the NFL. Players move on, players retire. We have to go out and find now a number one. I get that. But we're saying that as far as winning the division, all we were talking about is, and I was about as brutally honest as I could be, saying that we're still a playoff team. We're still a team that can win the division. It's the playoffs where is what scares me about the Buffalo Bills. So I don't know where you're going with it. I'm not saying this Buffalo Bills team is a Super Bowl team going into the 2024 season. Diggs means nothing. I never said that. We never said that. We were saying what we have on this roster right now is still a very good team, a team that could still win the division, a team that could still go to the playoffs, in my opinion. And the draft hasn't even gotten here. You don't know what we're adding. So I was all my point is we're still a dangerous team. We're still a playoff team. We need to crack whatever that code is to get to the Super Bowl. That's where we have, right, Mikey? Like, that's the thing that we've all been waiting on. We know what this team's capable of. So I get it. Diggs was a big loss. But every team goes through this. Every team loses. Okay, I'll give you a prime example. The Chiefs lost. Chiefs lost Tyreek Hill, and they still won a Super Bowl. There's teams that lose their top receivers or players, move on, and wind up doing better or replacing that player. It happens all the time. So I wouldn't.
Tommy disappeared. So with that,
Tommy, can you hear me? Tommy, can you
he disappeared. I want to hit on Joey. I want to hit on Joe. The internet said enough of you, Tommy. Click gone.
Get it.
Joey comes and says Brown had off-season surgery. Who knows what he's going to be? Brown had cleanup surgery. It was scar tissue. Bean came out, said it. Brown's going to be just fine.
Yeah, remember we talked about that, Mike. I was like, if it was a big deal, they would have. Trust me, you would have heard about it. It was just cleanup.
He named, being named all the guys that were rehabbing, and Brown wasn't even a part of it.
Brown. I hope we do. So speaking of Brown, because we mentioned him earlier, Curtis, I hope if he has another strong season, you definitely figure a way to extend Spencer Brown, because finding good offensive line in this league is
very difficult,
tough. And when you have them, you keep them. I like Spencer Brown, but I want to see a repeat of last year, and I also want to see him take another step forward. So stay healthy for one, which he did all last season. And that's another thing a lot of people don't talk about. And I said it a million times last year. This offensive line stayed healthy every single game. It's very tough to do. If we could do that again, Spencer Brown could stay healthy. and take another step forward.
Odds for 2 years in a row to do that is very low.
The odds are, yeah, I get it. But I will say what I like about it is we have some young guys, right? Torrance, younger. He's not an older offensive line guy who's like Mitch Morse, who battled through concussions. But you're right. It is tough. But that's why you got to have depth. That's why you have to, have good guys, waiting for, in case a guy goes down. But either way, I like what I like our offensive line. It's just the only thing that is a little question mark for me right now is McGovern at center. And we'll see what happens with that. But other than that, I'm good with it. And Edwards too. I like what I saw when he filled in, but I want to see more. Like I got to see a little bit more of Edwards before I'm comfortable with that. But I still think it's a good offensive line.
Yeah. Time for UFL football comes in and says, mark my words, Tommy and Mikey, Spencer Brown's on the move. Can't pay 2 OTs. If they do that, they better have a backup plan for him. And just don't hope that Collins is that backup plan, because no one knows what he is after he came back from his injury.
He's injured all the time.
All the time. Yeah, he's had multiple injuries.
In round 1, are we going to go offensive tackle? If we're moving on Spencer Brown, we better go offensive tackle round 1.
And you know why I don't think they are, Mikey? They have Brandon Beane has supported Spencer Brown. Has been like one of his biggest supporters. When everyone was shitting on Spencer Brown, right? How he's not the guy, and he's stuck with him, and he's saying, "Hey, just wait till this dude." And I'm telling you, man, for him being, and he's a guy he drafted, so he's a Brandon Beane guy. He was a project player. They made him into this player that you saw last year when healthy. I don't think that he's just gonna let him go without at least trying to bring him back, to, keep him home. They're not.
Just shedded Diggs is $27 million next year,
exactly,
which gives us some more money. That I don't know if Brown is going to be a top flight tackle money either.
Right.
Unless he has
unless he has an unbelievable year again.
Yeah.
Unless he takes another step forward, then yeah.
We let him leave. He goes signs a big deal somewhere, and you have a comp pick.
Yeah, but that's hard. That means you'd have to go and try. You know how hard it is to get a guy like Brown,
but then you got to fill that position. Yeah, exactly.
They're not going to pay $40 million for 2 tackles. They're just not going to do it. Knowing you have to
figure that out.
That's hard.
And some of the other,
they got to figure it. Yeah.
$40 million for your 2 tackles is a lot of freaking money, man.
Yeah, but just think Vaughn's going to be out of here probably. That'll free up a load of dough.
Vaughn will be gone. Now, if the cap only went up $5 million, we have like $40 million next year in cap, and that's not even getting rid of Vaughn yet. Once you get rid of Vaughn, you'll have closer to
it's so 50. Hard to get tackled. If you got 2 bookend tackles, man.
Yeah, I'd be on the fence with that too, man. I think they would. I think they'd figure it out.
Brown for a long-term extension. How much longer is Dawkins going to be here? You think?
We just re-signed him this offseason.
We just did it. Yeah, he was happy about that.
We just got
how many? 2 or 3 more years?
Was it 4? 3?
I got to go back and look. I'm not sure.
I think he signed a 3-year extension. It was
Torrance will come up soon too, so I guess you got to factor that in.
Yeah, because Torrance has 3 more years.
Torrance is a little bit more. Yeah,
Rousseau's is up after next year.
Yeah.
So you have to have money for him as well.
So hard balancing it, man. I hated seeing my guys go. I hated seeing Wilkins go and Hunt.
I was not sad to watch Wilkins walk out of the AFC.
I know you are
at all. At all. Was not sad to see him leave.
How do you let it? I don't understand how you let a guy like that walk, man.
I don't either, because he was the heart and soul of your defense.
And I hear my Dolphin fans are like, he's a DT. He doesn't change games. You can't pay that much money.
Yeah, tell the Chiefs that Chris Jones doesn't change games.
Crazy, but we're paying like 23 for Chubb, who's like barely around, and he wasn't
right. Wouldn't you much rather have Wilkins at 23 than Chubb at 23?
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know. Whatever.
So let me ask you this.
Go Fins! Don't worry.
Are you guys going to sign
Phillip Jones? He's going to play All Pro this year. We were going to
Burrito Jones, right?
Wilkins, who I don't even know who he is.
Are you going to sign Phillips to an extension?
They put him on They put a 5th-year option on him.
I know. Do you think they'll wait until after the 5th year before they sign him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you can always franchise him.
That's a lot of money. Top 5.
You guys lost Van Ginkel, right? He left,
Yeah,
right?
we didn't like that. We didn't like Van Ginkel for 10 a year, but we really like Chubb for 23 and a whole
I
bunch.
really like Van. Bro, I
love
was high
Van
on him.
Ginkel.
I thought he was solid, man. I thought he
Oh,
was a
yeah,
solid
yeah,
player.
yeah,
Play him at linebacker or edge.
High motor, man. That dude had a high motor, man.
We didn't want him. We don't like those kind of guys. We don't like them.
Right.
don't
Oh
like
man.
All right, Tommy, are we going to quickly do one of our last mocks? Because this will be the last time we get to do one. As this time next week, it'll be day 2 of the draft.
Yeah, pop it on up, man.
All right. Hey, Curtis, you get to help us out with this for the Bills.
Ooh, Curtis.
I'm not super draft guy.
That's fine.
You'll figure it out. You'll figure it out.
But you're a roster builder, so you can tell me like what positions you think. All right.
There you go.
Tommy, you're Brandon Bean this time. I was it last week.
All right.
Let me get rid of this so we can see Curtis's pretty face. Can you see it, or do I need to make it bigger?
A face. I don't know about pretty though.
Is that better, Tommy? Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. And are you going to try to move up? Do I need to move the speed down?
Yeah, let's move it down a little bit on the speed.
Okay.
Man, you guys got all kind of technological stuff over here, man.
That's right, man. That's what we do here.
So it went Caleb, Drake, Joe Alt. So you're at 4. You're not trying to move up at 4, right?
Sorry. What were you saying?
You're not trying to move up to 4?
No.
All right, just making sure.
No. That would be unbelievable. If Bean did that, man.
So all 3 of those guys went.
Man, they got
Neighbors,
Bacchus
Harrison,
going 6.
Yeah, and Rome all go right in a row.
Damn. Ooh,
Dallas,
rough.
Byron Murphy.
These guys are high as a kite. At least I know I don't got terminated because this AI is not too bright.
Yeah, mock drafts they're always different though, Curtis. Not every draft we've had them, but where they're totally different. And
they
it just
can
depends.
use them, but I think they need other things than that.
All right, let's keep going.
Could you imagine him and Quinnen Williams?
Brian Thomas went to the 13.
The Raiders, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
See, at this point, I'm just I'm staying where we're at right
You're
now.
not looking to move up?
No. Like a lot of guys already kind of.
Fuaga, that'd be good for us if we got Fuaga. Holy cow!
Yeah, Fuaga would be a fantastic fit for you guys.
Oh yeah.
So
I like the Troy guy, Troy Futano, because he can play the tackle and the guard. I don't know if Fuaga can.
So let me ask you this: I'm looking here, Tommy. It looks like Jared Verse is still on the board as a D end. Would you be looking to move up to Dallas for Jared Verse?
That kid's a powerful bull rusher, man.
Yeah.
He's McDermott's style of Klopsa.
Oh, dude, he would light up Austin Jackson. I hope you don't get him. Austin Jackson would have to check his drawers every game.
Yeah, I'm looking, and yeah, he's still on the board. Would you comprehend moving up?
I mean, at this point, I mean, golly, I mean, what are we like a few picks away here?
Yep, you're going.
Oh man.
Yeah, and Dallas is not going to. Dallas has already got Parsons, so they're not going to grab an Atlanta.
No, yeah, I mean,
that's a trade partner right there. Probably take you a third, right?
Yeah, one of our thirds.
We don't have a third. We don't have a third.
Yeah, it'd be a fourth. You're only moving up.
Yeah, we don't have a third this year.
Fourth.
Yeah. Let's try it. Let's try because I think now at this point we can get our receiver in the second round.
So okay, they took 28 and 133.
So go ahead, let's go ahead and get Verse out of Florida State.
And just so you guys know, Jared Verse, 6'4", 260.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah, I watched him go against the kid. He's a tackle. They wanted to play inside. Mm-hmm. He just lit that kid up like a Christmas tree. Powerful bull rush, man. Just really fast.
Yeah.
I liked what I saw.
Well, you're going to want to try possibly move up in the second to get your receiver?
Yeah, I think we're going to have to do that. Did A.D. Mitchell go, by the way? I don't think he went.
Mitchell went 25.
Oh, he did.
26.
Green Bay. Why would they want to get him? Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff around Mitchell. He like lack of hustle and stuff.
Yeah, that's the only red flag they got.
That's
I still think he's
red flag. Hot. It's
it is,
football,
but that
man.
doesn't always. That you transition to the NFL. You get around the right guys, right coaches.
Graham Barton is who I saw Verse go against. He lit that guy up.
I also like Keon Coleman in the second round as well. I've been high on him. Yeah.
Leggett, man, that's the guy you should get.
Yeah, I like him too. I think he's still available. And I do like Worthy. I know a lot of people don't because he's undersized, but speed is unreal.
So, I like the pick for the Chiefs, Barton, a tackle, because they're going to get off of Taylor and probably at the end of the year when his money's gone. So receiver.
Yeah, but I don't think he can play tackle. Barton can't play tackles. Too weak.
You don't think so?
Nah, he's got to go inside.
Where's he going to go?
Verse treated him like a little redhead stepchild. He really struggled. You can't hang out.
Wilson went. Coleman went. So Leggett still there. Are we going to try to go up from 60 to 50, Tommy?
Yeah, Legett's still available, and I like him, man. Yeah, let's try to trade up and go ahead and get Leggett because I think Keon Coleman just got drafted by the Bengals. Why would they come on Bengals?
You give up 60, 144, and 163.
What are we giving up to get up there?
60, 144, and 200 is what I'm going to offer. And see. If not, it'll be 163.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
They said no to that.
Look at that, Curtis. They rejected us, man.
Yep. So let's go 163. We moved up.
There you go.
So you have Jalen Polk, Zaylor Leggett.
See, this is where we take the receiver. I think where we go Leggett here.
Yeah,
Mikey.
and Worthy.
Yeah.
So would you go
small?
But I like Leggett. I like Leggett a little bit more.
You got Samuels. He's kind of
and he still has speed. By the way, Leggett's not. It's not like Leggett is slow. By the way.
Crazy.
So,
Spin gave us an F for moving up for the defensive.
Sorry, Spin. I normally wouldn't do. I probably I would have traded up for receiver.
Listen, if we trade up and get Verse and then trade up and get Leggett, that's like an ultimate dream.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
That's like a dream for the Bills.
No, Keon Coleman's gone, Triggs, man. The Cincinnati Bengals.
Coleman it took him before Tommy can get him. Tommy would have tried to get him too.
I would have absolutely in the second round if he was there. That would have been my guy right there. But that's all right. Xavier Leggett's fine. I like him. Good player.
All right. So we're at 128, and then we go to 160.
All right. Let's see what
Baki's there for safety.
Yeah. What do we got in safety right now?
This guy, Tanner, is the guy that would fit your offense really well at center. Curtis.
Yeah,
he's a mover, dude. He's a mover.
Tanner,
yeah.
They said he played all three positions, and he's he coordinated the calls.
He's super athletic. Super athletic. Cole Bishop's there at safety. Muhammad, Taylor, Mustafa. So what are you thinking, Tommy?
Yeah. So we got our edge. Their future edge
and our receiver.
Got our receiver.
You need some safety help or D-line help.
Absolutely, we do. Yeah. God, but the safety.
You want to see the safeties? So the safeties you have Baki, Bishop, Mustafa, Oladapo.
These guys.
Bishop.
See, my guy's gonna. The guy I like, obviously, Williams. You can get him late, man. Yeah, you want way later, and I think that guy more of a I just
Mustafa
like him, man.
And Oladipo. Both of those guys are box guys. That could also play there too. So you want to look at D-tackle?
Yeah, let's look at some tackles here.
You have Carter still available. You have Leonard Taylor still available. Logan Lee still available. McKinley Jackson still available. Christian Boyd you can get later. He's still available.
What are we in? What round are we in right now?
We're in round 4. By the way, Curtis, this is who I was telling you about. Evan Anderson.
I think I did some little research. I think I remember the name. Oh, 356. Yeah, I saw him before.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy is big.
Dude is a monster on the inside. He's super raw, so they'll have to work with him, but is an anchor on the inside.
And if he comes in for spot duties,
he's all run defense. He's all run defense.
That's not bad. That's a good buy.
And you'll probably get him late. That's who I was telling you about earlier.
What running backs are available? Just curious.
Running backs?
Yeah, any bruisers? They're all gone.
Let me do this. Go running back. Vidal's probably the one that is probably the best pass blocker left. Isaac Granado. Granado's the 6'1", 225, 4'4" guy or 4'3" guy.
Yeah.
None of the running backs look great. From the interior, you have Zach Zenter. I'm a huge Zenter guy. He'll be a red shirt this year because he broke his leg late in the season.
Oh, that's right. You know what? That's the guy. Yes, we talked about him last time. Mm-hmm. See, I'm doing a flyer on him right now. We're gonna need that. The offensive line.
We have a wide receiver too.
Yeah. Let's see what we got. But that is a guy that I definitely want to keep an eye on to see where we're at. Maybe in the next round. Maybe he slips again. We could pick him up as a future. Keep him stash him on the roster.
I like
put him on the IR
as a late round guy. I like Gold as a late round guy. Cornelius Johnson is very unique. Reminds me so much of Nico Collins coming out
from
6'3", 208, just a big giant X.
This is a tough one, man. This is tough, Mikey.
But you can get late round guys. Like I'm a big Hayden Hatton guy. I'd love to see the Bills take him late, as like 7th round. I think he can use a sleeper.
I'm gonna let you go on this one, man. I'm torn.
If it's me, I'm going Zach Zenter. I want to keep building that offensive line, interior offensive line. Edwards is a 1-year deal. Then you could slide Zenter right next to Torrance and McGovern, and you've locked down our interior for years.
All right, go ahead. I'm fine with it.
Okay, our next is 160. Let's take a look. Okay, once again, Dwayne Carter's still sitting there. Like, if this is our last pick because it was only a 5-round mock, I think the next pick would be the safety. But this one, if Dwayne Carter's still sitting there, you have to take Cam Hart's still sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
Cam Hart is 6'2", 207, about as solid DB as you're gonna get. In real life, he's probably gonna go in the 3rd round.
Right. Weird that he slipped then. Yeah, and we don't know yet what's going to happen with Kyer, guys, by the way.
Yeah.
Kyer is still the question mark going into next year.
So would you go D-tackle, go like a Dwayne Carter, or would you go Cam Hart?
And I like Dwayne Carter too, by the way. I do like his game, man. Ah.
So from your perspective, Curtis, you tell me, from a roster building, knowing what the Bills have today, would you go D tackle or would you go corner?
Well, you got to believe that Elam's going to step up for you, and you got 3 starters. If you got a guy like Gaquan, he's older, and you got a smaller guy like
and we got 2 backups that are on 1-year
rotation in that D tackle spot because you're not. I'm sorry, my dog's barking.
It's fine. You're good.
I would go D tackle because you need rotations. You need strong interior. Because you want to beat the Kansas City, and that's what they do. They try to punish you inside in the run game, and then you'll be going against Ravens, and so I would definitely go DI.
That makes sense.
Hayden will be sleeping on the practice squad. You're probably right, Roy. He's a draft crush of mine, Hayden Hatton. All right, so you gonna go D tackle here?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm good with that too.
All right, because we moved up twice. We had 4 picks.
Let's see what they say, Curtis.
They loved the Jared Verse pick. They loved the Legette
Oh,
pick.
they did not like
hated
Zach.
the Zinter pick, and they loved the Dwayne Carter pick. I actually, if this is how the Bills actually drafted, I'd be super stoked if this was the draft.
Yeah, I'd be totally good with it.
And
I would totally be good with it.
Legette and Verse, that is huge for your team.
Right. Yep. I'm with you there.
You go instead of going Zinter, went Bishop. I could have seen that. But that's stating that you think that McDermott is not in love with Edwards and Rapp. And I don't want to take a 4th round guy who's just going to be a backup.
Right.
I think Edwards is going to play. I think Edwards will do well. Oh, I thought you meant the guard Edwards.
No, I'm talking about Mike Edwards.
Yeah, I still think you need safety help.
Well, yeah, we think that, but it's not about what we think. It's about what our coaches think. And John McDermott sung the praises of Mike Edwards coming in. They wanted to draft him a few years ago, and we didn't.
Mm-hmm. Better be right, because with Waddle and Hillman, you got to control that top.
That's saying your offensive line gives 2 enough time to throw.
And with that kind of, we get the ball out at 1.98 seconds, man. Just throw.
But it's not thrown over the top. It's not thrown over the top when he does that. He's holding the ball like 3 seconds when he's throwing over the top.
Right.
Listen, I believe down the stretch it was our boy Rapp who picked off Tua to end the game.
It absolutely was.
And I believe Mike Edwards also picked off Tua in that super cold game.
Oh yeah. There you go.
You're putting bad memories.
Thanks. I appreciate that, Mike. You really
I love you too, buddy.
Oh my god.
All right, Tommy. So that was our final mock.
That was our final mock. That was fun, man. We had a good time. And the real draft is next week, man.
I don't think Zinter will be starting year 1.
No, he's a stash player. Yeah, he's a guy that they put on the IR.
And was a day 2 pick coming out of Michigan until he got hurt.
Yeah, and that happens all the time. Lions did that with the receiver. What was his name? From Michigan. What was his name? Mikey. They did that with the guy from Michigan. They did that same thing. The Lions. They drafted the speedy receiver who was
Jameson Williams.
Yeah, and they sat him for a year. Remember, they let it. So that happens a lot, man.
Yeah,
and if a player like that slips because of that,
Voorhees was that guy last year that I wanted to take out of USC, and somebody else took him and then sat him all year, and then he'll be ready to go this year. I think it was Baltimore, and I think it's the reason why they let John Simpson go, is because Voorhees is now going to step into that offensive line as a guard.
Yep.
I wanted us to get Voorhees last year. I always want to build on the interior. If Edwards doesn't work, we can put Hamlin in.
I think Hamlin. I'm telling you, man. I think Hamlin's on a roster bubble again.
You said that last year, and he wasn't.
But I also said he was going to make the team. I said he was on the bubble, which is true. You got to remember, everybody was so happy he made the team. It was a big story that he made the team. But I thought it would have been
that he was playing football.
No. What I'm saying was they didn't know if he was going to make the roster. I said he would because it would be a PR nightmare if he didn't. It would have been. Trust me, it would not look good for the Buffalo Bills if they released DeMar Hamlin last year, before the season. However, this is a new season. You got to now provide something on the field. I thought he did good last year special teams, but depending on what we do in the draft, wind up getting a safety. It's only so much room, Mikey. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
I don't know if he makes the team. Yeah.
Because who do we have else? We have Cam Lewis and we have Hamlin as the backups right now, right?
Yes, I believe so. Those are.
Yeah.
And then depending on who we draft, you know what I mean? So we'll see. I mean, I could be wrong.
I don't know. I thought he was fine in the preseason. I didn't feel like he wasn't going to make the team. I never thought he was. I'm just saying, Mike. Like I believe me. He made the team because of I'm just saying. This could be the easiest home run mock draft, and you choked. Yeah, I know. You didn't take the safety. You didn't take the safety. Listen, if we come out with those four guys, or those picks, I'd be stoked.
Absolutely.
We went
Absolutely.
D end, receiver, guard, D tackle. I'd be okay with that.
Yep.
Would you be okay with that if your team did that, Curtis?
I was looking at Evan Anderson over here. What were you saying?
Go back and watch some of his tape.
I'm going to. I see his weight though, 319. I don't see 356.
He dropped weight.
I don't know. I just saw one. It might have been an old. I'm going through. I was trying to. When you were talking scheme fit. No, it says nose guard 3'4". I'm looking forward to. I thought I saw his name. That's anyway, we'll go back to what you were saying. I'll check my Dolphins later. What are you saying?
I was saying if you walked out of the draft with an edge, a wide receiver, a guard, and a defensive tackle, would you be happy?
Oh yeah, for your team or my team? My team.
Either team.
No, for you, for what you guys need. Yeah, for me, it wouldn't be. I need a tackle, a DI interior, maybe maybe a third receiver if you want. So I would kind of some of the stuff I would like. Leggett I would like. Versa we could use because we're not going to. Who knows when Chubb? I mean, I could see it. I wouldn't be unhappy if I walked out with Leggett and Verse. You know what I mean? So
you walk out with Verse, Leggett, Zenter, and Carter. Dwayne Carter.
I think that's good. That's especially I would say it's a. I don't know about Zenta too much, but the other guys I kind of know a little bit. I'd be happy with them.
Go back and watch some of Zenter. He was actually going to be a day 2 pick until he broke his leg in the game against Ohio State.
Saying that.
You know,
I mean, we need help. Doesn't matter. We got Eichenberg. You know, I can call you up, maybe get similar production. So I would take Zinta. No problem.
You're right, Spen. I could have bypassed the guard and went safety.
I
and
think
grabbed
safety
Cole Bishop,
guys.
And we could have went DN, wide receiver, safety, defensive tackle. But then that's one offensive player in the first 4 rounds. You don't think you're going to have, Mafia freaking out that we're not giving Josh more help?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Let me have the 25 mock draft so I can roast that as well. Yeah, 2 weeks. Tommy, 2 weeks. They want their 25 mock draft.
25, right? I'll do a video on the guy I want for 2025.
That's our mock draft, the ability to roast the mockers. Listen, I come on here and do a mock draft. It's open to the public to roast. I don't care.
Yeah. I'll be I will say this.
Tommy drafted that, not me. Haha, sucker.
I will say this though. It'll be 2 years in a row if we get a player that I was the guy I wanted the Bills to draft. If they draft Keon Coleman this draft.
You didn't even draft Keon Coleman in this one.
No, I'm saying though, like I did a video on Osiris Torrance last year. I really wanted him, and I really wanted Keon Coleman this year. So
I know. Did you hear Bean at his press conference? He's like, if we have a 50-50 guy, you need to catch the 50-50 balls. And I'm like, no.
And who's that guy? Right, sure-handed.
That's what he does.
The one thing that I tell everybody, the one thing Buffalo Bills and a lot, not a lot of people, we've been one of the worst in the last 3 years at drop percentage. We drop a lot of fucking passes. It's unacceptable. You're leaving first downs off yardage, lost yardage, like
so many drops.
Bro, Stephon Diggs had like 10 drops, like something crazy last year. He had 8 the year before. Unacceptable. Dawson Knox drops. Gabe Davis drops. Like, we need a sure-handed receiver, especially in the red zone. I mean,
I think he's only dropped one in the red zone his entire career.
Listen,
we need it younger.
If the Chiefs select Leggett at pick 32, I'm gonna hope he hits his floor, not his ceiling.
Right.
I want no part of Leggett on the Chiefs.
Right.
I want no part of. I don't want Andy Reid to have that type of toy.
You think that kid Xavier Worthy is going to be any good?
I think he can if he lands in the right
situation. He has the potential.
Oh, small, 165.
He's so small.
You have to remember, he doesn't play at 165. He tested at 165 because he dropped weight to run fast because he's a track guy. He actually plays at like 175. But
still a little small.
It's still a little bit small. However, it's really going to be dependent on where he ends up. Does he end up in the right system? If he ends up in, say, Dallas, he's just a speedster on the outside. He'll get one-on-one coverage. He has a chance to be good. He ends up with someone like Andy Reid. Watch out. Yeah. He knows how to use guys like that, or Sean McVay, or someone like that. But if he ends up in somewhere where they don't know how to use receivers, I don't think he fits in Buffalo. If he goes to Buffalo, I'm scared for him. Even though Josh has a strong arm, we don't use that type of receiver.
Yeah.
We just don't. We had it in Hardy last year. Hardy was a small guy, really fast, and we didn't use him at all last year.
Yeah.
He ends up in Miami.
John Brown was kind of a shorter receiver, and we used them well. So I don't know if I totally agree with that. I'm just saying, I don't know if I totally agree with that. If Xavier Worthy with that kind of speed who's a burner, can get that separation, and Josh with the kind of arm he has, that's a deadly combination. That's a great thing to have on your team. Speed is a motherfucker. Speed kills. So I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with that. Like, that's one thing too. We don't have the over the top guy. We don't have the.
We didn't use Hardy at all last year. He was speed.
But I blame that on fucking Ken Dorsey early on, and I felt like by the time what's his name took over, Joe Brady, he was trying to find everybody's strengths and weaknesses at the time, and there was only so much he could do at that time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really believe if Brady had Hardy early on, maybe you would have seen more of what Hardy did in New Orleans, but he didn't have the opportunity. No, man, I do think we need we haven't had that speed. So like honestly, since John
Brown has speed, and
I know he does. That's what I'm saying. So I don't, and he's not as fast as Worthy, but he's damn fast. So yeah, I would take definitely.
I wouldn't want Worthy in round one. If we went Worthy, it'd have to be round 2.
I agree with that. I'm good with that. Yeah, totally good with that.
Keon Coleman, I wouldn't want at 28. If we went Keon Coleman, I would want him in the second.
I agree with that. 100%.
Round 1 guys that I'd be okay with: Brian Thomas Jr., A.D. Mitchell, Leggett, maybe Troy Franklin. Because I'm a Franklin fan. I like his game. But those are like the guys. Ladd McConkey, I think, would be fantastic from a route running perspective. I don't think he gives us what we need as the speed guy. We have a route runner in Shakir.
Right.
I don't, you find Ladd McConkey in like Kansas City. That's going to be dangerous because he's such a good route runner.
Right.
And has a good feel. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. There's a lot of really good receivers this year.
Yeah.
All right, Curtis. Tell everyone where they can find you, brother.
They can find me here, Tommy's Mafia Sports Report, every once in a while. Show up, get it used. You can check me out on the YouTube at Ace
on the YouTube.
Yeah, on the YouTube. I do cover the Bills. I cover all the teams. I'm a Dolphins guy, but I really, like you said, I love football. I like accuracy. I like to be accurate. So I do try to cover every team I do fairly. So you check me out there, YouTube. And I'm doing the Twitter thing, X thing, trying to. It's hard, man. It's just such a cesspool.
It is.
You
have no idea if you're trying. Get ready, boy.
I try, man. I feel like I lose brain cells. There's great stuff on there, but it's,
if you think YouTube's bad, it's bad.
You know what, Curtis? The mute button is your friend.
Absolutely.
Or the mute button is your friend.
Or block. You just block them.
Yeah.
Block them or mute them. That's your best friend on that app.
Welcome to the wasteland. I feel like that Fallout TV show.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's all good. You got to do it, though. You got to do it, man. You got to pimp yourself out, and it's the place to do it, I guess. They say.
So, Tommy, the schedule for next week. The wrestling guys.
So Tuesday is Nuclear Heatwave Wrestling at 7:30. Wednesday, Mafia Talk will be on to talk about the draft.
Okay.
That's at 10 o'clock. Thursday, it's going to be fucking fun as long as I got reception. Either way, it's going to be fun for y'all because Mikey is going to be live. We're going to be live for the draft.
Yep.
The draft starts at 8, so I assume we're going to go at about 7:45ish. Right, you'll be on
7:45 or a little bit earlier, depending on how.
So I'll have a schedule for 7:45, guys. But just kind of keep an eye on that. But I'm going to the draft, guys. I'm in Detroit. I'm going to chime in from here and there in the live. In the live. So I'll be on live, kind of showing you guys where I'm at, what I'm doing. It's going to be really, really cool. I don't know if anyone else will be at the draft. That's another streamer. That's pretty cool. Unless they live in Detroit, unless they're flying here.
Yeah.
But I think that's pretty unique and different. And then Friday, me and Mikey will be on Friday Night Lights to recap night 1 and to talk about round 2 while it's going on. And then day 3, me and Mikey are probably going to pop in here and there with certain picks to talk about that. Then Monday, over that weekend, we will be going live on a Monday just to kind of recap everything on Fanbase, which is still here on YouTube and all that. So I'll keep you up to date over the weekend on that. But we have a lot going on pretty much next week.
Friday, we're going to just go live. And Friday Night Lights is going to be the draft show, right?
Yeah, the night 2. Yeah, day 2. Yeah, absolutely.
So I will not be going solo, Roy. I don't do solo. I just don't like it. I don't like to hear myself talk like that. Howie from Fantasy's coming over. Curtis, you're welcome to pop in too if you want. Love to have you. Come on in, talk a little bit about especially around your pick time. Love for you to pop in and give me your thoughts on that. As Howie and I will be going live.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that too. I might have. Sorry to cut you off, but I might. I'll talk to Jay at Mafia Talk and Big Cuz.
All of them are welcome to pop in.
Yeah, and I'll see if they're available to hop in because it'd be cool for you guys to get that interaction going on.
Yeah. Tell them they don't even have to stay long. They can pop in for to 10 minutes and talk about picks, what's going on.
Yeah,
or whatever the case may be.
Absolutely.
But I'd love to get your insight, Curtis. So if you're
I love the draft. I'll be in, man.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's fun. Cool. It's a long show, but it's fun.
Yeah, and you don't
I can always leave. Time. It's your show. I can always leave and go to the fridge.
You can leave it at that too.
Extra Geritol.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Thank you for everything. It was a long one tonight.
Thank you, guys. That was great.
It was fun though, man. Curtis, I appreciate you staying a long time, man. So Bills Mafia, we love you. And as always, go Bills. We're out of here. Peace.
Go Bills.
Okay.
What'd you say, Curtis?
He said go Fins, right as you said okay.
Right. You said go Fins?
Okay.
Oh, here, guys.